Hey guys, this is 2.2 multiplying polynomials, okay? So we recently learned just what polynomials were in 2.1 and we learned how to add and subtract them. So given two polynomials like x plus 3 and adding x plus 2, you knew that you were able to combine like terms. Like these two x's, that would be 2x, and then that would be 5, right? So instead of adding this time, subtracting, we're going to be talking about multiplying two polynomials. So how can you multiply two polynomials? So two polynomials to multiply, what you need to do is multiply every term in one polynomial with every term in the other. So essentially every term in one has to be multiplied by every term in the other. Okay? That's really all it is. So this x has to be multiplied with this x. This x over here has to be multiplied with that 2. This 3 has to be multiplied with this x, and this 3 has to be multiplied with that 2, pretty much. So there are a couple different methods that you can use to multiply these together, and that's what we're going to do today. Just some different methods that you can do to make sure that you are keeping track of multiplying every term with the other terms in the other polynomial. So for a right here, we have x plus 3 and x minus 2. So two binomials, right? So this is going to be called the distribution method, okay? So the distribution method says to take this first term right here, x, okay? And you're going to multiply it with the x minus 2, okay? So you're going to multiply it with the entire binomial or the other polynomial, okay? Alright, and then we're going to take this plus 3 and then we're going to multiply that with that polynomial, okay? So what we're saying here is that we're going to take this and multiply it with this entire polynomial. We're going to take the other term and multiply it with the entire polynomial, okay? And then we distribute, hence the distributed method. So if we distribute those two, then we get x times x, which is x squared. And then x times negative 2, which is minus 2x. Okay? And now we have 3x. We have to multiply. We come over here and do plus, right? Because that's what we have there. And then 3 times x, it's 3x. And then 3 times negative 2 is minus 6. Okay? And then once you have that written out, so right now we've multiplied every term from one polynomial, like this one right here, with the terms in the other. Okay? So now, at this point, we can combine like terms, if there are any. So there's only one x squared right there, so we got that one. But then you see here we have a 2x and a positive 3x, which are like terms. So negative 2 and positive 3 makes for 1x, and then you have your constant, minus 6. So this is x squared plus x minus 6. Okay? Alright, let's go to b now. This is just another example. So again, I'm going to take this first term, 2x, and I'm going to multiply it with this polynomial right here. Now I'm going to take this minus 1 and multiply it with the polynomial over here. Okay, and now use distribution. So I do 2x times by 2x. So 2 times by 2 is 4, and x times by x is x squared. So that's going to be 4x squared. And then 2x times by positive 1 is positive 2x. Okay, now I have this negative here. Don't forget that negative. Okay, so negative 1 times by 2x would be, so that's going to be negative 2x. And then negative 1 times by positive 1 is negative 1. Okay? Okay, so now it's the same thing. We just have to combine like terms. There's 4x squared. There's no other x squared term. But then we have these two right here, which is 2x and minus 2x, which cancel each other out, right? So then I'm just left with negative 1. So this is 4x squared minus 1. Okay, that's the distributive method. So pretty easy. You're just going to take one term and multiply it with the other polynomial. And then you're going to do the same thing, take the other term and multiply it with the other polynomial. Hence, we're multiplying every term in this polynomial with every term in this polynomial. Okay? So it's just a method. Here's another method down here. It's called the FOIL method. So, to multiply two binomials using the FOIL method, find the sum of the products. So first of all, it's called FOIL because it's an acronym. You can see the acronym right here. FOIL, F-O-I-L. So first it says to multiply the first terms together. So if you have two polynomials or two binomials, so this is 1, this is 2, multiply the first two terms from both together, right? Okay? And then it says the outer terms. So this is an outer term and this is an outer term. Now multiply these two together. The inner terms, so the one in and the one in, multiply those two terms together. And the last terms, which is the last term here and the last term here, multiply those two together. And then the sum of them. So then add all of those up, okay? So you can see that that's what they do here in this example. X times x is x squared. X times 2 is 2x. And then 1 times by x is x. 1 times by 2 is 2. Okay? And then you add all those together. So then you have x squared plus 2x plus x plus 2. Combine like terms, the 2x and the x, which is 3x. Okay? So we have this example over here on the left hand side. So we're going to first multiply the first two terms. So that's the first part of the acronym, the F. So that's going to be 2x times by 3x, which is equal to 6x squared. Now I'm going to multiply the outer terms, which is 2x times by negative 5, which is negative 10x. I'm going to multiply the inner terms, which is 1 times by 3x, which is equal to 3x. And then I'm going to multiply this term and the last terms of the binomial. So that's going to be 1 times by negative 5, which is equal to negative 5. Alright, now I take all of these terms right here and I add them together. So that's 6x squared minus 10x plus 3x minus 5. These two inner terms right here are like terms. So then this is going to be x squared, negative 10x, and positive 3x is negative 7x. And then I have negative 5. So that is the answer right there. Okay, so that's the FOIL method. And now we have the table method. So the table method, so we have this table right here, right? So what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to take the terms from one binomial and plug them in here, and the terms from the other binomial and put them into these boxes. So we do 2x and negative 3, right? That's what we have here. And then in the other term we have x and positive 5. Okay? And then we just look at this one right here, this box right here, which is the 2x and the x, right? Multiply those together. So then I'm going to be left with, so 2x times x, which is 2x squared. Let's do this box right here. That's going to be negative 3 and x, so that's negative 3x when you multiply them together. Down here, this box, which is 2x and positive 5, multiply them together is 10x. For the last box, I'm going to take negative 3 and multiply it by 5, which is negative 15. Okay? And now you do the same thing. You just add the terms. So 2x squared minus 3x plus 10x minus 15. The two middle terms are like terms, so we can combine them. And there you go. So all this is really easy, okay? These are just methods, right? So you don't have to do this, multiply this way, but these are just 3 methods that help you understand that you're just trying to take each term in one binomial and multiply it with each term in the other binomial, okay? So the rest of this is pretty much just some practice problems, okay? So I want you to go through this and just practice your ability to problem solve. So I'll help you with the first one. So this is the distributive property. So if we take x and then we're going to multiply it with the other binomial, and then take -2 and multiply it with the other binomial and distribute those. So x times x is x squared, x times -1 is -x, -2 times x is -2x, and -2 times -1 is +2. Combine your middle terms, that's x squared minus 3x plus 2. Okay? So try exercises 2 through 6, get some practice in. That's how you're going to get better, is through practice. Alright, down here we have the table method. I'll do the first one. So take the terms in both of these and plug them into the boxes. So x and -3, x and -2. Okay? So multiply the boxes together. So this would be x squared. This would be -3x. This is going to be -2x. And then -3 times -3 is +6. Okay? Now take the inside boxes. So like right here. So that's x squared minus 3x minus 2x plus 6. Combine the middle terms because they are like. X squared minus 5x plus 6. Okay? And then here, in exercises 13 through 18, use the FOIL method. Okay? Honestly, I like the FOIL method the best. It's just one that I learned, but use what you feel comfortable with. So that means take the first terms together and multiply them. So that's x squared. Okay? So the first terms and then the outer terms. So that's going to be x and -3, which would be -3x. Take the inner term, so that's 2 and +x, so +2x when you multiply them together. And then the last terms, which is -2 and -3, which is -6. Combine the middle terms, so we have x squared minus x minus 6. There you go. So go ahead and go through the rest of those examples. Okay? And last is this is just finding the product. So here you're not just given 2 binomials, you're given a binomial and a trinomial, okay? And much later in the future, maybe in the next year, you'll be multiplying even more than that, okay? So find the product of these using a method that you prefer. So maybe I'll go through 3 of these using one of each method. So I'll first use the distributed method. So again, I'm going to take this x and I'm going to multiply it by x squared plus x minus 1. Okay? Then I'm going to take the -2 minus 2 and multiply it by x squared plus x minus 1. And then I'm going to use the distributed method, distributive property, to find the answer. So if I multiply those together, I'll get x cubed, because x times x squared is x cubed, plus x squared, x times x is x squared, and x times -1 is -x. Now I have this minus sign right here, or I'm going to take that -2, right? So -2 times by x squared, -2x squared, -2 times by x, it's -2x, and -2 times by -1 is +2. Now we just have to combine like terms. So there's x squared, there's no other, or x cubed, and there's no other x cubed in here. I have an x squared here, and an x squared there. So -2 and +1 So that's going to be negative x squared. Okay. Alright, and then I have a negative x and a negative 2x. That's going to be negative 3x. And then I am left with plus 2. So there you go. So this is a polynomial of the third degree, right? Okay. So I'll do 20 now. For 20, I'll use the FOIL method, okay? So the FOIL method's a little bit different because, like up here, the FOIL method says it just means that our inner terms are going to be, there's going to be more inner terms that we need to multiply together because we have a trinomial instead of a binomial. So, but still follow the same rules. So let's multiply the first terms together. So that's going to be 2 and 3a squared. So it's going to be 6a squared. Okay. First terms. Okay. And then what I like to do then is do the outer terms. So that's going to be 2 and negative 5. So it's going to be negative 10. Okay. And now for the inner terms, that means I have to do this negative a and this 3a squared. Okay, so that's going to be negative 3a cubed. Okay, and then I still have another inner term right there. Those two right there. Okay, and that's going to be negative 3a squared. Alright. And there's actually going to be one more inner, because right here we did this one with the first and then this one with the last, but there's actually one more inner, and so that's this one and this one, the middle one here. Okay, so that's what it's kind of different about the FOIL method when you're using a trinomial. So it's going to be 2 times by 3a, so it's going to be plus 6a. Alright, and then finally we're going to take this, the last term, so negative a and negative 5, so it's going to be plus a, 5a. Okay, so you see that we should have 6 terms because we're multiplying this with this, this, and this. So that's going to be 6 terms. And then I'm going to multiply this times this, this, and this, which so 3 terms and then 3 terms. So we should have a total of 6 terms. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, that's what we wanted. And now we just have to combine like terms. Start with your leading degree monomial, so that's that one. Okay, so it's going to be negative 3a cubed. And we have 2a squared, so there's 6a squared and negative 3a squared, which will still be positive 3a squared. Okay, and then we have these a terms over here, 6a and positive 5a, so it's going to be plus 11a, and then our constant, which is negative 10. So there you go, there's your answer. Okay? Alright, I'll do the table method for the last one right here. I'll make my own table. Might not be the greatest, but might work okay. Okay, so I'm going to have h and 1 over here, and then here I'm going to have h squared minus h and minus 1. Okay? So I multiply each column and row together. This will be h cubed. This will be negative h squared minus h. And then go to the next row. That's h squared minus h minus 1. So then I'm going to take what's in here. I'm going to add them together. So I have h cubed minus a squared minus h plus h squared minus h minus 1. So I have this h cubed, I have a negative h squared and a positive h squared, so those cancel out. I have a negative h and a negative h, so that's minus 2h, and then negative 1. So that's my answer there. Okay, so use your method of choice whenever you're doing these other ones, okay? And then just try and see which one you think works best for you. The table method, the distributed method, or the FOIL method, okay? Find which one that you think is best for you. But that should do it for this video. So let me know if you have any questions. Make sure you practice these problems so that you're ready to do your homework, okay? Thanks, guys.